Ebola survivors have been discharged from Mubende Hospital. That and more stories in Abule today. Thank you so much for joining us and always being part of us. This is Africa Today. My name is Nahawe Kajura, but first are the headlines. The Democratic Republic of Congo, accuses rebels of killing 50 civilians. Nairobi churches and mosques urged to reduce noise. Kenya's national brand at stake over doping, minister said. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We start with one of our top stories. Now, 4 survivors who have been undergoing treatment at Ebola treatment unit in Mubende have been discharged. They were discharged on Thursday amid jubilation by the health workers, district technical staff, and members of Ebola task force led by Mubende Resident District Commissioner RDC Rosemary Biabashaija. We have more on this report.
The survivors were given household items, including beddings, as a startup as they reunite with their families. Biabashaija described the discharge as a breakthrough and commended the government and communities for the effort that has necessitated them to successfully treat 67 people. She said a total of 42 people died of Ebola and warned the people to guard against the disease. Biabashaija also asked the people to adhere to the health regulations set by the government and also to patiently wait for further guidance from authorities amid the lockdown, as well as advice from health experts. She revealed that they have established a survivors clinic to take care of the survivors' likely effects of the disease. Dr. Pascal Apio, a consultant physician, also said that the patients were in a bad state and the situation was challenging, but the successes achieved were as a result of teamwork and cooperation among the medical workers. One of the survivors, Sylvia Nantumire, from Chikandwa sub-county in Kasanda district, saying that her recovery was God-given because of the poor situation that she went through. On Saturday, President Museveni extended the lockdown for another 21 days starting November 26th. Museveni observed progress achieved in the fight against the Ebola virus disease in Mubende and Kasanda districts.
Moving on, the Internal Affairs Minister General Kahinda Otafire has acknowledged that rogue elements have infiltrated the government security forces and are behind some of the crimes being committed. Now, General Otafire says some of the rogue individuals have taken advantage of the arrests currently being conducted by security to commit crimes and notes that they are hunting for them. We have the report. General Otafire was on Wednesday responding to concerns about the illegal arrest of a section of Ugandans by plain-clothed security personnel before being driven in cars popularly known as drones. The minister said that in a bid to contain the activities of the rogue individuals in security forces, they have since cautioned the police to stop apprehending suspects without credible evidence. He says it is illegal for security personnel to arrest suspects and hold them in unknown detention facilities, adding that such individuals should be followed and arrested. There has been a spate of arrests carried out by the plainclothes security personnel in the wake of attacks on security installations and security personnel. Early last month, the Deputy Inspector General of Police Major General Geoffrey Tumusime Kasigazi linked the attacks on Busika Police Post in Luweero district to a rebel outfit called Coalition for Change. However, Otafire dismissed claims that they could be coordinated events by a new rebel group, arguing that the attacks were being conducted by criminal gangs. Otafire assured the population not to panic since security is following up the matter and has since arrested a number of suspects linked to the recent attacks. Armed assailants have attacked security installations and killed security districts before, fleeing with guns and ammunition. Moving on in our top stories, the RCC for Rubaga Division Anderson Buroda has, with immediate effect, stopped the operations of Kampala Capital City Authority in Rubaga Division until further notice, citing irregularities. The RCC Buroda made the remarks during a press briefing at Uganda Media Center in Kampala. We have the report.
Among the operations halted includes government programs such as the Parish Development Model, Community-Driven Development, and the NADS program. In his speech to the media at Uganda Media Center in Kampala, RCC Anderson Brora warned KCC officials and the general public against engaging in any of the aforementioned activities without clearance from his office, and whoever does so faces arrest.
The PDM activities that we are taking place should stop immediately. And it's a decision of security that whoever is found conducting those businesses or those activities will be arrested. It's no longer a matter of discussion, it's a matter of action to make sure that the people of Rubaga settle these issues, whereby they are maligned, they are told that it is government denying them these services. Where that they are openly being told that it is the president who has cut the services to the people of Kampala.
According to RCC Aurora, these programs are marred by several irregularities, which he attributes to the technical staff of KCCA, and yet the blame is inflicted on government and President Yoweri Museveni.
Don't have time to interact with the community. If they do, the message that is taken to the community is so dire to the fact that it is anti-government. Programs are kept in an inner circle, which are supposedly circles of the technical people, whereby money does not reach the community, but money rotates around, and it is alleged. That's why we want to clarify. If it is in the community, where is it? Show us. If there are groups that have received the money, where are they? If there are groups that are going to receive money, where are they?
He says that he has written to and met the executive director KCC on several times, but nothing has taken place, and yet the situation is worsening time and again.
I am on record to have written to the executive director over some of these allegations. I am also on record that I have met her personally and raised this issue or some of these issues. Not even me alone, but even other colleagues. Nothing has taken place. And time and again, things get worse. I cannot afford to run away from the public, from interacting with the public, because someone else is boiling the anger in the people, and I keep quiet. Apart from health services, which are hospitals, road cleaners, market masters, and garbage collection, the rest are not going to be allowed to work on condition that the executive director herself, the minister herself, come to Rubaga and sort these issues at hand. Because the scams cannot continue at the detriment of the image of government. Yet it's individuals, it's technocrats who are orchestrating and frustrating the public from accessing services.
He further went on to warn the individuals playing on the entire process by denying people services they are entitled to, which he says causes a public uproar.
Thank you so much, our reporter. Africa Today takes a quick break. We shall come back with the international news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In international news, lovers of Sudanese dates are taking part in the 4th International Dates Festival, which opened its doors in Khartoum on Wednesday, November 30th. Now, the festival started at the Friendship Congress Hall under the auspices of the Sudanese Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry.
Organizers say it is aimed to increase the international recognition of Sudan's dates and to develop production, marketing, and exports. About 250 farmers from the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Mauritania, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia are taking part in the festival. With an annual production of about 330,000 tons and a date palm population of about 8 million, Sudan ranks number 8 in the list of top date producing countries of the world, according to the International Society for Horticultural Science.
Away from that, the Congolese army has accused M23 rebels of killing about 50 civilians in the eastern town of Kishishe. It comes amid reports of mass killings following the resumption of fighting, with a ceasefire agreed on last week appearing to be collapsing. Take a look at the story. The rebel group has denied the allegations against them as baseless, saying it has never targeted civilians. Thousands of people are fleeing the fighting between the rebels, government forces, and allied militias in different parts of North Kivu province. Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo agreed at talks in Angola that a ceasefire would take effect last Friday. The M23 said the truce did not concern them as they were not invited in the talks. Rwanda denies allegations that it backs in the M23. Away from that, Burkina Faso's interim leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, has announced that he was the target of a coup attempt last week.
In a meeting with civil society organizations on Thursday, Captain Traoré confirmed the coup attempt and said that he knew who was behind it, but was not going to make any arrests as he prefers dialogue and the situation is under control. Captain Traoré took power in Burkina Faso on 30th September through a coup by ousting his predecessor, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Damiba, who himself had seized power through a coup.
Away from that, churches and mosques in Kenya's capital Nairobi had been urged to be considerate and reduce high noise levels at their premises. Now, Governor Johnson Sakaja said he will be having a discussion with religious leaders on regulating noise levels. We have the report.
The city recently banned nightclubs from operating in residential areas following complaints from residents about noise, and many people have called for a similar ban on worship houses known for having loud music systems. Mr. Sekaja said even with the nightclubs, we didn't start by shutting them down. We spoke to them over time, they agreed to comply, but some ignored. Earlier on Thursday, the governor said he will not close down places of worship, but will instead initiate dialogue. Nairobi has a large number of evangelical churches where loud music is common during worship and overnight vigils.
Africa Today takes a quick break. We shall come back with business, health, and sports. Africa Today will come back from that break. In our business news today, Uganda has been ranked among the top 10 performers in industrial development in Africa Industrialization Index 2022 by the Africa Development Bank. The ranking indicates that Uganda's industrialization policy is beginning to pay off as the country registers increased improvement in manufacturing value-added goods.
The top 10 performers in terms of ranking by AFDB included Djibouti, Benin, Mozambique, Senegal, Ethiopia, Guinea, Rwanda, Tanzania, Ghana, and Uganda. Country-by-country comparisons, the FDB said Kenya and Uganda are in upper middle stand at the best in East Africa, whereas Central Africa is led by Gabon, followed by Equatorial Guinea and the Democratic Republic of Congo, upper middle, Congo and Cameroon, middle. The Africa Industrialization Index provides a country-level assessment of 52 African countries' progress across 19 key indicators and enable African governments to identify other countries to benchmark their own industrial performance and identify best practices. The FDB, African Union, and UNIDO jointly launched the inaugural edition of the index on the sidelines of the African Union Summit on Industrialization and Economic Diversification in Niger. The index indicates that 37 of 52 African countries have become more industrialized over the past 11 years. The index uses 19 indicators to score countries with manufacturing, capital, labor, business, environment, infrastructure, and macroeconomic stability taking the lead. South Africa maintained a high score throughout the period, followed by Morocco. Egypt, Tunisia, Mauritius, and Eswatini rounded off the top 6.
In a health news today, since the outbreak was declared on September 20th, the virus has spread across the country, disrupting the school year and reaching the capital, Kampala. The head of emergency operations for the World Health Organization Africa says progress is being made. Now, he said that the outbreak has allowed them to advance on the vaccine front with significant progress over the past 2 months.
The survivors were given household items, including beddings, as a startup as they reunite with their families. Yabashaija described the discharge as a breakthrough and commended the government and communities for the effort that has necessitated them to successfully treat 67 people. She said a total of 42 people died of Ebola and warned the people to guard against the disease. Yabashaija also asked the people to adhere to the health regulations set by the government and also to patiently wait for further guidance from authorities amid the lockdown, as well as advice from health experts. She revealed that they have established a survivors clinic to take care of the survivors' likely effects of the disease. Dr. Pascal Apio, a consultant physician, also said that the patients were in a bad state and the situation was challenging, but the successes achieved were as a result of teamwork and cooperation among the medical workers. One of the survivors, Sylvia Nantumire from Chikandwa sub-county in Kasanda district, said that her recovery was God-given because of the poor situation that she went through. On Saturday, President Museveni extended the lockdown for another 21 days starting November 26th. Museveni observed progress achieved in the fight against the Ebola virus disease in Mubende and Kasanda districts.
In a sports news today, Kenya is set to criminalize doping in athletics to crack down on it in the same way it does with narcotics because the national brand is at stake, Sports Minister Ababu Namwamba has told TV Africa.
It comes after several Kenyan athletes were banned from sport for doping, even if the country itself is kept a ban. So far this year, more than a dozen athletes from the East African country have been suspended by the Athletics Integrity Unit, AIU, for a range of violations. Kenya simply cannot afford another ban after having faced a football ban, Mr. Namwamba said. He also explained the importance of enforcement and the financial commitment of $5 million over 5 years Nairobi is making to stamp out doping. Mr. Namwamba further said that they needed to strengthen capabilities in investigation, prosecution, and general enforcement because one of the weakest links in that war is enforcement.
Well, thank you so much for being a loyal audience from where we started from. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We should keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.